Welcome back to some new r/PettyRevenge stories, where people share small victories over those who wronged them. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now, let's start with the first story. It's called Suspended for No Reason. I got word that my office was firing some people, and it was due to less hours to go around. Funny enough, they are still posting on Indeed for new workers. That said, my bestie, who taught me a lot in the industry, was on the shopping block and was let go. However, it wasn't all her fault. She was a new hire. She fell within the 3 months probation time. Not saying the job was bad, but it has been 6 to 7 months since my work bestie left, and I was going to leave when she did. But the company kept stringing me along with promises of more hours and a better work truck, so I stayed. Last Friday, one of my foremen told me that the girl beside me was better at her job than me. It hurt my feelings, but I moved on. Monday morning, my bosses called me and asked why I wasn't allowed back on that site I was on Friday. I said I had no clue, but because of that, they took me off the schedule for 3 days. Days off I didn't ask for. They also punished me for a contract that ended a month ago, due to me doing something someone senior than me told me to do. They lacked the communication to tell me I was suspended. So I called a friend from an old company yesterday and asked if he was busy with work, and he told me he was. So I moved over to his company. While I did that, I called my other job and told them I quit. They gave me some runaround answers and demanded I come in and work for them on Thursday, when I wasn't on the schedule. In fact, they tried to tell me I was scheduled all week, but they cancelled my shifts before they started. This baffled me. I said no, that I thought they were suspending me since I had all these days off. I proceeded to tell them that I had received an offer, and I took it, and I would like somebody to pick up my work truck, since they were so accommodating to me, to not tell me about me being suspended. They told me to take time out of my personal day to drive to the office and drop it off. Now, I know they are a good company, but their business practices are terrible. To send a message that they stink, I took 6 Black Ice little air freshener trees, and I stink bombed the work truck. I put one in the rear view mirror, to at least say there was one in there to make it smell nice. But it's the other 5 they will be looking for. That's what will make it stink for a long time to come. I know they switch the trucks often, so this beast will be making some poor person's eyes water for months on end. To me, the black ice smell gives me a headache. The next story is called Handicap Parking. I had just arrived at church. A good friend, Kyle, was in his custom electric wheelchair, and he was furious. Someone had parked a new BMW right in front of the ramp that Kyle uses to get in. I went inside and got a wheelchair. I went down the steps and picked him up and carried him to the church's wheelchair. With 3 other guys, we picked up and carried Kyle's chair to the top of the stairs. After that, I put Kyle in his chair and went to my car. I pulled up so close they could not move their car. I then went into the church and joined the service. About 45 minutes later, a man entered and looked around. So I got up and asked him if I could help him. He said someone blocked him in. We went outside and I said how inconvenient. I then proceeded to tear this guy a new one. After chewing them out for 15 minutes, I said they would have to wait. They were furious and threatening to call 911, claiming that they were being held against their will. Well, I had already called the police on the non-emergency line. When the police finally showed up, I backed up. They were spinning a story when the cop asked why they were parked in front of the ramp. As he chewed them out, I just walked away, smiling. They got multiple tickets. The third story is called Theme Song. I moved here 2 years ago and haven't been able to sit and relax in my yard for one time. It's always children screaming hysterically at the top of their lungs, very loud music, and adults yelling. Talking to them won't help. They are really stupid and can't be reasoned with. because they can't for the life of them see other perspectives. So now, every time they sit in the backyard, I have circus music on repeat. At first, they laughed, but after the 8th time on repeat, they started to make loud comments about how it doesn't get to them. Now, the visitors always leave. The next story is called Sweaty Shoes. I just got off the train with my boyfriend. There were 2 rows of 2 seats facing each other, in front of our regular single row. The bloke was sleeping with his feet on the seat in front of him and had put his shoes on the ground. It's warm around here, and sweaty feet are basically present on everyone. His girlfriend, I guess, was busy with her phone. So, what do? Carefully move the shoe we could reach away, using our own feet, and pull it towards us. Then kick it back behind our seats, underneath the luggage rack. When the last station was announced, we left our seats, and when he woke up, we heard him say, "Where's my shoe?" That single moment of panic was so worth it. The 5th story is called No Bears. Several years ago, my wife and I visited Whistler, BC in the late spring/early summer. Snow was mostly gone, but thought the gondola would be a gorgeous ride. We lined up to board, and 2 very large, very old people cut in front of us as we were getting on, acting like they didn't see us. When, very clearly, at least the old man looked me dead in the eye, almost as if to say, "Go ahead, say something." It was just the 4 of us on the gondola, and the couple went straight to the front, facing towards the top of the mountain, and took up the entire front view. My wife and I, sort of dejected, sit down behind them. Who doesn't want to be at the front? They start complaining that there is no snow. And then, in particular, in the most British Cockney accent you can imagine, there are no bears here. If you have ever been to that area in spring or summer, there are bears everywhere. My wife and I were Tail and Charlie's, looking out the back. And what do you know? We go right over a large brown bear and 3 cubs. How they missed it, I will never know. My wife and I sat there in awe of what we were seeing and kept our mouths shut, grinning from ear to ear. The rest of the view was beautiful. As the ride ended, the old couple, again waiting to be the first, busted out of the gondola. Could be heard complaining that they had wasted $50 and wished they had not bothered to ride. The last story is called Getting Rid of a Bad Teacher. When I was around 12, we had a new teacher of my native language. I was always a straight A student, but she didn't like me from the first sight for some reason, always lowering my grade, always warning that it would be an A for someone else, but it's a B- for you. We had a dictation with political campaign in it. In my language, campaign and company sound exactly the same, but spelled differently. I got my assignment back with a B- and campaign underlined in red, company written underneath. At first, I thought she was just tired and confused, and very politely asked why my perfectly correct answer wasn't accepted. Appealing to her thesaurus, she shouted that I'm insufferable and should know my place, and not assume I know my language better than the language professor. I called my mom. After that, things went in 2 directions. I went to my favorite language teacher and showed my assignment to her. She started off to that other teacher's office, fuming. At the same time, my mom called the vice principal and then the principal. I can imagine how my mom can be. She starts to speak very calmly and slowly, lowering her voice, like a sleepy snake who doesn't mind snacking on you. She never shared, but I guess they felt they were about to be swallowed whole. So my lovely teacher tests that weird teacher a new one, and my mom takes care of higher officials, no doubt mentioning state officials. My bad teacher caught me in the hallway and berated me for going over her head and not trying harder to resolve it with her directly. What? I could see the vice principal coming at us with a very angry expression, calling her to her office. This was the last day anyone saw the teacher in our school, and I even got an apology from school, and my grade was fixed. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.